Hello everybody. I know some of you have been here a long time, some of you here a short time, some of you haven't even came yet. That's why you're watching these videos. You're planning to come here and you're trying to absorb as much information as you can. I've lived here since October, so I learn things every day, and I make these videos to try to make your transition over here better for you. So if you're new to my channel, please like and subscribe to my videos. I've got a lot of information on my channel that I think is helpful to you. Some of it's just talkative things like cultures and things like that. And it won't necessarily help you, but also I do have a lot of informative information on here. So I've wrote down 17 things that you shouldn't do when you're over here. This through, like I said, through personal observation, through talking to Filipinos, and through research. So I'll don my glasses and go ahead and start reading off my list. Number one, when invited to someone's home, don't attend with a full stomach. The tradition of sharing a meal and dining together is highly valued in Filipino culture. Many Filipinos believe that the best meals are enjoyed in the company of others. In fact, they greet you by asking, "Kuman ka na ba?" Have you eaten yet? This is an affectionate way of saying hello. Gathering over a home-cooked meal is one of the ways that Filipinos spend quality time together and demonstrate their appreciation for one another. It's a matter of trust as well. Therefore, please don't refuse Please don't refuse the meal that they prepared for you and invited you into their home as a guest. You should know beforehand that Pinoys, and that's a casual nickname for Filipinos, they love to spoil their guests with delicious food. Sometime the host will push a plate closer to you at the dinner table. They may even heap more rice and extra servings onto your plate without asking first. Just know that it comes from a place of kindness and generosity. Savor the feast and kiss your diet goodbye. Number two, don't shy away from the hospitality offered to you. Not only will you be greeted with warm reception here, but you'll also be treated to a fine hospitalities that the Filipinos are known for. What makes the Philippines such a lovely place is how the locals embrace the concept of pakikasama, roughly translated to fellowship, to accept people beyond their circle of friends and relatives, more simply getting along with others. The value of pakikasama suggests a genuine habit of togetherness, harmony, and companionship. Don't be surprised if you make many friends during your stay. As Filipinos, they're not afraid to go the extra mile to make you feel comfortable. You may come here as a visitor, but you won't leave as a stranger. When talking to elders or strangers, number three, don't forget to use the correct honorifics. If you wish to start a conversation with a stranger, there are courteous ways to get their attention without addressing them by their first name. You can refer to them as ate, meaning older sister if they're a woman, or kuya, meaning older brother if they're a man. Even if you aren't biologically related to the person, these casual terms still apply. You can also call someone tito, uncle, or tita, auntie, if they happen to be the parents of your friends. But if the person you're speaking to is old enough to be your grandparents, you can call them lolo, grandfather, or lola, grandmother. Moreover, Filipinos show respect with courtesy for their elders by saying opo, a polite way of saying yes, and po, an honorific that adds reverence to your phrase, adding po and opo. It shows good manners, and it shows them that you care enough to address them properly. And don't Number 4, don't expect everyone to speak English perfectly. If you're surprised by the number of Filipinos who can express themselves smoothly and confidently in English, you shouldn't be. After all, the Philippines was colonized by the United States for almost 50 years, resulting in the English language being widely taught in schools and around the country. That said, you shouldn't expect everyone to speak flawless English anywhere you go. While English may be the dominant language used for business, it's still not the mother tongue, and not every Pinoy can speak their second language fluently. That's where a little knowledge of Filipino comes in handy, and that's something that I've been working on since I've been here. So you can be, number 5, be respectful and try to learn the language. Filipinos can definitely could be accommodating to foreigners, but still try to meet them halfway by knowing their language, even if it's just a basic greeting. There are a few phrases to break the ice to express your gratitude. Plus, they'll get a lot of laughs from you as you try to pronounce some of the words, because our accent is much different from their accent. Some of these phrases are magandang umaga, hapon gabi, good morning, good afternoon, or evening, and kumasta ka, meaning how are you, and mabuti namam salamat, means I'm fine, thank you, and at ikaw, and it means and you. Salamat, I think most people know this one, means thank you. Walong, unaman, you're welcome, and paalam, goodbye, and ingat ka, take care. Now I know I didn't pronounce these the way they should be, but that's all part of learning. And much like the Spanish language that influenced Tagalog, words are pronounced the way they're written. Don't worry too much about not getting the accent right. It's the effort that counts. And number 6, there are times when you shouldn't take cane tayo too literally. Respect a shared meal for a kind gesture. That is, but still try to read the room to know where you might be when you might be crashing a party or catching the host unprepared. With the expression of cane tayo or let's eat, there are some cases where it's easy to fall into a misunderstanding. If you run into someone at the mall, for instance, and they ask you if you've eaten yet, that's not necessarily an invitation to go have lunch with them at that instant. And if you notice a beat of hesitation when they ask you to eat with them, cane tayo, this might be their polite way of saying you should eat already, not just necessarily with me. Nobody will tell you directly you're pushing your boundaries or overstaying your welcome. Pay attention to nonverbal communication cues, body language, to know if you're putting someone on the spot when they actually have other plans. Number 7, never force your Pinoy friends for a meal you're supposed to cover. Another important distinction, know when you offer to take a group of Pinoy friends out for a restaurant for a meal together, you are silently agreeing to pay for the bill unless you specify that your social gathering is kanyo kayang bayad, meaning that everyone pays for their own food. You're giving your friends a reason to presume that your dinner and drinks are on them or on you. And if you mislead your friends into thinking you're treating them to a nice meal when you don't plan to, that's a huge no-no. And if you disagree with someone's opinion, don't come off too strong. Filipinos are generally very friendly towards other people, which means they tend not to be confrontational with foreigners. For this reason, raising your voice in anger or loudly correcting someone over a mistake can come across as condescending, overly demanding, and rude. As Like many Asian cultures, you should get your point across in a civil manner by paying careful attention to posture, facial expression, speech, and body language. Due to the cultural politeness, many Filipinos will not tell you "I can't" or "I don't want to" outright. Instead, they'll say "I'll see" or "I'll try" or "let me think about it." In turn, you may have to be discreet with your words and find a gentler way of phrasing your comments so you don't offend them. Number 9, don't expect everything to be super cheap. A lot of the American food I buy over here, I pay a higher price for it than I would in the USA just because it has to be shipped over here. The Philippines may be one of the more budget-friendly destinations in Asia, but that doesn't mean everything is cheap. As the saying goes, nothing in life is ever free. While the Philippines may be a developing country and the cost of living is significantly lower, the prices at restaurants and electronics and imported luxury goods in some parts of the Philippines might surprise you. Number 10, avoid heated debates with vendors and don't overdo haggling. One of the embarrassing things that any foreigner should avoid doing in the Philippines is fake haggle their way through outdoor markets and souvenir shops. They understand that you're excited to score great bargains, but keep in mind that there's a reasonable level of negotiation. Know the price range by walking around the area first. Always be cordial with the vendors when asking for lower prices, and don't be too aggressive. And don't haggle if you're not really planning on buying anything. Otherwise, the vendors have every right to be upset with you because you're wasting their time. And number 11, be careful not to arrive too early for social gatherings. Thanks to more than 300 years of Spanish rule, Filipinos have a knack for dipping bread in hot chocolate, eating a sweet ham at Christmas, an afternoon siesta, and yes, arriving late to parties. In spite of the infamous Filipino standard time, the delay in casual gatherings in the Philippines has more to do with the lack of efficient transportation options. They can deliver their citizens to their destinations on time. One example is in Metro Manila, where the traffic is notorious for being horrific. Most Filipinos don't make it a point to be late or rude, yet delays can be inevitable in a city where trains break down often. However, it's perfectly fine and better to be punctual in the Philippines. Lateness is never tolerated for business meetings and weddings, for example, and shows that the theater usually begin right on schedule. But when it comes to informal gatherings or parties, try not to arrive too early, or else you can catch your host off guard and far from ready to welcome you into their home. Just as it's considered impolite to arrive too late, you have to adjust to Filipino time, or at least give a little bit. Give it around 15 or 20 minutes, or you could find yourself waiting for a long time before the party starts. And in the USA, we call this being fashionably late. Number 12, this is a big no-no. Joining rallies is illegal if you're a foreigner. For your own safety, steer clear of participating in any protest during your stay in the Philippines. A press release from the Bureau of Immigration states that all foreign nationals are prohibited from participating in political rallies and mass demonstrations in the country. Taking a part in a political assembly or gathering, may it be for or against the government will be considered as meddling in into the Philippines' internal affairs as a sovereign nation. According to the Bureau of Immigration, Jamie Morante, they caution against joining in any protest in the country or you risk getting blacklisted and deported. And this one was kind of surprising to me. It's number 13. It's never attempt to sing My Way in karaoke bars. One of the things you should never do in the Philippines is to attempt to sing the classic song by Frank Sinatra. At least a dozen karaoke-related murders have taken place in bars across the Philippines from 2002 to 2012, and they all lead back to the same crime: singing Sinatra's My Way out of tune. Joining a rally can get you deported out of the Philippines, but this musical violation might actually get you killed. This song has historically proven to be so fatal that bargoers will not let you finish it without their fists flying as soon as it's selected on the karaoke machine. Now, I did find that surprising. And we got more people in the clubhouse now, so it's starting to get louder, but I'll try to adjust my tone, talk a little louder so you can understand me. Back to the song. This is an unfortunate song, a side note of karaoke that doesn't usually lead to violent altercations as long as you practice decent karaoke etiquette. Don't make fun of other people, and always share the microphone no matter how good you think you are, and you should have nothing to worry about. By all means, sing your heart out and dance the night away. This is a national pastime that the Noise are really good at. Just don't try the most dangerous song in the Philippines unless you want to face that final curtain. Number 14, don't hesitate to try Filipino food. From sizzling pork dishes like sisig and the crispy skin of lechon to the warm soup, the sinigang. Filipino cuisine offers a mind-blowing range of salty, sweet and sour, and savory flavors. You want a true Filipino feast? Enjoy the local dishes in a traditional Filipino style. A variety of meats and vegetables displayed over banana leaves. Clumps of rice are meant to be scooped with bare hands. Set your table somewhere near the ocean. You'll notice that grilled seafood tastes even more delicious. Eating your way through the Philippine Islands don't sound like a bad way to live at all. And don't forget to sink your teeth into scrumptious Filipino desserts, or yes, the classic fried chicken from like Jollibee. And but better yet, look for the popular Filipino dishes while you travel. 15. Never fly back home without bringing Philippine souvenirs. Filipinos make certain that you'll make many unforgettable memories before you leave the country. You should definitely make room in your suitcase for your loved ones back home. From delicacies like the buko pie and chewy snacks like dried mangoes to hand-woven products showing the work of local artists, Philippine souvenirs are a must-have items for every traveler heading home. And I know you go out towards the province here in Mindanao and different places, either direction, and you see a lot of handmade wooden products and woven products at a very low prices. And don't limit your travels to Metro Manila. With more than 7,000 islands that offer visitors a diverse archipelago that can whisk away, you can whisk away places to your wildest dreams. That's why it's so saddening to hear many tourists only spend a few days in Metro Manila and call it a complete vacation. There's too much smoke and traffic in the city, But there's many places with white sand beaches like Boracay, crystal clear waters of El Nido, the chocolate hills of Bohol, the mellow surfing spots of Balear, the chilly summits of Baguio, the underground river of Puerto Princesa, staggeringly beautiful lagoons of Surigao, and here in Davao City, Samal Island. Beautiful beaches there, and just up the road from Davao City, a few hour drive, is Dahican Beach. So that's just a few of the places that come to mind. Tourists shouldn't limit themselves to staying in Makati City or Metro Manila, especially when there's so many different things to do in the Philippines. Without seeing other parts of the country, you can't really say that you explored the Philippines to its fullest. There's so much culture from island to island and beauty. Number 17, don't forget to immerse yourself in the culture and make new friends. The biggest travel-related accident in store for you. Should you book your flight to the Philippines, you may never want to leave. Speaking from someone that's been in the Philippines since last October, you could spend a lifetime in this country and still not run out of things to do. Many foreigners intend to spend a few days in the romantic coast of some of the beautiful beaches, or chase awesome surf breaks in Surigao. Eventually find themselves and fall in love with this place, wishing they could leave their lives behind and stay here just a little longer. Why? Because they found a second home in the Philippines. At the end of the day, it's Filipinos who are responsible for giving the country its life, hope, and color. Any cultural differences shouldn't deter you from traveling to the Philippines, because it's filled with people who are warm-hearted as they are giving. If there's anything that the repeat visits of foreigners can tell us, is that Archipelago offers something special to every traveler. Despite the significant number of things to avoid in the Philippines, it has a way of leaving a special mark on everyone's heart. So those are the 17 things that I've written down, and talking to locals, doing reading and research, and just trying to be involved as much as I can with the people over here. Those are some of the things that I came up with, and so hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you're not a subscriber already, please like and subscribe. Until next time, be safe, have a good one, and mahal ku kayo.